I have been meaning to ask you something. The UK's budget came out today and the period of austerity looked set to continue. Chancellor George Osborne announced that further cuts on public spending are necessary. His policies so far involve freezing welfare below inflation, cutting back public sector pensions and secretly privatising the NHS. Yet in his drive to cut the deficit, I can't help but feel he is missing something. Something really obvious.
Don't worry, Osborne promises that after the next election he will start cutting schools and hospitals too. I don't think you need to worry.
No, there is something else. Something that never gets used, costs a fortune, yet inexplicably never gets mentioned come deficit slashing time.
Like what?
Well, that over there? That giant thing floating over there. It's grey, kind of ominous looking, and partially submerged by the Atlantic.
Oh, that's just Trident, our independent deterrent. Our SSBN.
Yes, but what is it?
It's a submarine-based intercontinental nuclear missile system. It deters our enemies and keeps us safe. It is our ultimate insurance policy.
That sounds good. How does it work? And how much does it cost?
Well, it's very cheap compared to France's. It works through nuclear deterrence. It means that any state considering attacking or blackmailing the UK will know that we could retaliate with a 100-ton atom bomb, or 48 if we wanted to. This means we can destroy practically any city on Earth within minutes of pressing the red button. It makes messing with us illogical, and impossible for anyone rational.
Well, who might be thinking of attacking the UK?
Well, no one right now, but we live in an uncertain world. For instance, North Korea has nuclear weapons and Iran might be developing them. And, of course, you never know with the Russians.
But we have nuclear weapons, why can't they? I don't understand. Also, why would North Korea attack the UK? Aren't they more concerned with South Korea? And Iran, what could they possibly gain from threatening the UK?
Well, they are crazy, and it's better to be safe than sorry.
But I thought for your deterrence to work it required the enemy to be rational, not crazy.
Well, they are crazy in the sense that they are capable of doing irrational things. But not so crazy that they can't be deterred with our deterrent.
Right.
Anyway, don't forget about Russia. Our nuclear weapons are an insurance in case they revert back to their old ways and go for world domination again. Without our nuclear weapons in the Cold War, don't forget, we would be speaking Russian now.
That wouldn't be so bad. I know Russian. Nostrivia. You capitalist pig.
Don't joke. Our nuclear weapons kept peace in Europe.
Are you sure? Isn't that a Cold War myth? I mean, never mind that invading Western Europe would have left the USSR's long border with China open. The Soviet Union could ill afford to invade, occupy and enforce a military government. Which is what invading Europe would have entailed. Indeed, it had enough trouble maintaining hold over their eastern satellite states. If invading Western Europe was unappealing then, it is even less so now. It is not like occupying a country has been a very profitable endeavor for anyone recently. Superpower or otherwise. I mean, occupying a country just seems to be an expensive and internationally embarrassing way to destabilize your own government. I mean, just look at Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq. I think I would rather be occupied by the Russians and fight a guerrilla war than exchange nuclear weapons and face apocalypse.
But it's not invasion we are worried about. It's nuclear blackmail. Without nuclear weapons we would leave ourselves open to intimidation. They could threaten our survival with impunity.
But what would they ask for in return? All the gold in the Bank of England? I am afraid there is not much left. Gordon Brown sold most of it in 2007. Also, if not having nuclear weapons leaves a country open to nuclear blackmail, why haven't the Russians taken all of Germany's Mercedes?
Aha, because of the NATO nuclear umbrella, of which the UK is a valuable component.
So let me get this straight. Russia, North Korea or any other nuclear weapon state don't blackmail Germany or anyone else because they think that the UK will retaliate on the victims' behalf?
Well, not exactly. The UK represents a second centre of decision-making that complicates the calculation of retaliation in any aggressor's mind. So all that is needed to deter is the chance that we may retaliate.
So, The lack of nuclear blackmail in international politics has nothing to do with prospective nuclear blackmailers knowing their threat would lack credibility, because using nuclear weapon for anything other than self-defense would make them an international pariah, curse the conscience of their government and populace with genocide, and generally make their life in the international system very hard.
No, that doesn't matter at all. It's the cold hard military rationality that counts. States don't use nuclear weapons because they fear that they may get nuclear retaliation. States don't have a conscience. Oh Panda, you are so naive.
Okay, but I am not convinced. But anyway, I thought the main threat to the UK in the 21st century was terrorism. How does this independent deterrent defend us against Al-Qaeda? I thought that as a non-state actor, and a crazy one at that, they could not be deterred.
Well, you are right. Non-state actors can't be deterred. But our nuclear weapons deter other states from supplying terrorists with nuclear weapons.
How does that work?
Other states know that the UK will hold any state who supplies terrorists with nuclear weapons responsible for any act of nuclear terrorism their client commits. And they know that we will retaliate to any attack on us proportionally and in kind.
With nuclear retaliation? Okay, assuming the UK has discovered that Pakistan supplied Abu Natsir with a nuclear weapon and he blew up Birmingham. Then the UK will drop an atom bomb on Islamabad. Eye for an eye, right?
No. Well, we would, yes. Yes, I suppose we would. So everyone would know our deterrent was credible. We wouldn't want to, obviously.
Obviously. Because dropping an atom bomb on 10 million Muslims in Islamabad would hardly make the UK safer.
Well, the world would know our nuclear deterrent was credible, and that we were willing to use it.
And 1 billion Muslims would wage 5,000 years of jihad against the UK. But at least the world would know our deterrent was credible.
Well, hopefully it would never come to that. If we have to use our deterrent, it means it has failed. Of course, that is one of the funny old paradoxes of nuclear deterrence.
So we know it is working because we haven't had to use it. How do we know if it works at all?
We don't, but it hasn't let us down so far.
Because we haven't used it? Right, this sounds a bit like a scam. How much does it cost again?
The government estimates that the new Trident will cost between 15 and 20 billion pounds sterling at 2006 prices.
We are not in 2006 anymore. Is the government paying at 2006 prices? That's a pretty sweet deal.
No, of course not. Well, a cross-party study estimates the capital outlay to be roughly 25 to 30 billion at today's prices.
Capital outlay? What other costs are there?
Running costs. These are estimated to be about 2.1 billion per year.
Hey, that's a little more than the UK spends on higher education. How much is that over the lifetime of the deterrent?
Well, it lasts 30 years, and so including the capital outlay it comes to about 80 billion.
80 billion? That's a lot of money at a time like this.
It sure is, but like I explained, it keeps us safe.